Hello and welcome to the Gadsden Sesquicentennial celebration and our parade. Ellen Coffey here along with Jay Holland. Good morning, Ellen. How you doing?
Good morning, Jay.
Saturday, October 12th edition. Happy 150th Gadsden. And today indeed is our 150th observation of our fine city of champions. Ellen, it's a good day.
It's a beautiful day to be on Broad Street. We're happy to be here to bring the parade. It's just getting underway.
As a matter of fact, the Gadsden Police Department is due in getting our parade underway here. As a matter of fact, our first unit, the police three-wheeler, just went by us here, and they have been very, very helpful as always. We want to thank them very much for everything they've done for our Sesquicentennial celebration. And Chief Morris, right on down to the cleanup person at the Gadsden Police Department. They always do a great, great job in helping us out for every kind of big community event that we do. And you see the DARE car now as another one of the great youth organizational efforts. DARE, of course, the police program to make kids aware of the dangers of drugs and educated type programs that they use to keep drugs out of our communities. Ah, look at that little Gadsdenite dad there. Having a great time here, and we certainly do have a wonderful day for it. About 66 degrees here in this mid-October day. Huh?
It's a great day for a parade, Jay.
Telling you.
As well as the City Police Department, we have the Sheriff's Department involved. The Honor Guard is coming next, right behind the Gadsden Police DARE car. Sheriff James Hayes, of course, has been with the department over 20 years. He served as our sheriff for the past 10.
Oh, yeah. Great guy, too. Real personable guy. Somebody you can really approach very well and talk with about problems and or politics and or, publicity things.
Absolutely.
He's a good guy. Really is. And the Etowah Sheriff's Honor Guard, as you see. Really appreciate them doing a great job as well, too. And they do a lot more than you think out there in the communities and the schools. And it's a big county when you start having to cover all the ground. And the Sheriff's Department is responsible for a lot of territory.
You're right. It's nice to have them with us today. Also, of course, it's Gadsden's birthday that we're celebrating, but it's really the entire area that we're honoring.
And certainly it's a birthday party of some, 150 years. That's a tremendous stride in and of itself. And I had the honor to actually talk with some of the people that have set this up and have worked long hours. Ellen, you know of them as well, too. And if we start mentioning names, we're going to get in trouble. But I can tell you, a lot of people put a lot of time into this endeavor.
Coming into view now, we've got our junior ROTC from the Gadsden City Schools walking under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Carl Harrison.
Great
We've got
guy.
the color guard and the drill teams.
The drill team, of course, has been in competition throughout the year with the junior ROTC. They represent Litchfield, Emma Sansom, and Gadsden High Schools. And Colonel Harrison, I'll tell you, he's a real trooper. Pardon the pun there, but he's been doing this a long time, and I've worked with him. Especially one of his prouder moments is the raising and lowering of the colors at Murphy Stadium for Friday night football games.
That's right.
And they always do that at the end of the third quarter. They lower the colors, and I enjoy that when I go to Murphy Stadium and watch these kids do that. It's very, very good.
It's nice to see the students involved.
Yeah, gives you a little cold chill. There's Colonel Harrison right now walking in front of the Life of Alabama building. I don't know if we can get a shot of him over there or not, but he, as usual, in kind of obscurity, he's walking up to the corner right now. And that corner, of course, is where a star commemorating a tragedy, the police officer being unfortunately killed on the line of duty there. But the city's history is rich with very, very many great contributions from individual citizens, and that's why we are called the City of Champions.
And it's been nice, like you said, for the many months that all the planning have gone into this birthday celebration to sort of review the history of the area. You were recalling some of that this morning.
I tell you, it's a great opportunity that I've had because of my interest in history. I've had the honor and privilege to know some of the people that really remember a lot about the area. Charlie Bowman is one.
Right.
Charlie and I are very close friends. We've become buddies, as a matter of fact. Many times he'll just drop by his office and say, "What's happening, Charlie?" And we'll start talking. And 2 or 3 hours later, we've talked about a lot of things that have happened. And they, of course, are always educational for me. Got a great resource, people like Charlie and some of the great people that have been here many, many years and remember a lot of detail about things.
Well, and as you know, Charlie's responsible for having our Grand Marshal here today.
Yes,
He actually did the research to get
right.
the Gadsdens here.
Well, I can recall many conversations with Charlie concerning the City of Champions, and one of these days, I wouldn't do it justice, but someone needs to get Charlie in front of a TV camera and go into detail on that.
He's a living history
And
himself.
go on Channel 5 with it as well, too, because he can tell you about the City of Champions. Speaking of Mr. Gadsden.
Right, he's our Grand Marshal for today's parade.
Yes,
He's coming
indeed.
up next, Mr. and Mrs. Tom Gadsden. He is the great-great-nephew of James Gadsden.
He is the closest living relative, too, and a very proud moment for the City of Gadsden as he lives near Daytona Beach in winter and Dillard, Georgia during the games, Gadsden.
And they've spent the last several days here visiting. They've been honored to be a part of this celebration. Yeah,
There he is.
here they are.
As a matter of fact, the city, of course, named after his great-great-uncle. Gadsden was appointed in 1853 to acquire land in New Mexico.
That's right. That's how Mr. Bowman, I think, became acquainted with the Gadsdens. They'll
Commodores
present
Gadsden.
the flag this afternoon to Gadsden Hall.
Gadsden, very notable man in history, served as the aide-de-camp to Old Hickory.
Right, and
That's
they're
President Jackson.
pulled by 3 Clydesdales.
Yes, all right.
Here we
Looks
go.
like we got some real dream here. Rocky Top.
Led first by the Southern Bell Dancer.
Yes, indeed. Rip Reagan is another resource of this great city, let me tell you.
Absolutely. He's involved tonight, as a matter of fact, in the extravaganza.
Let's see if we can pick up a little audio.
That's why the folks on Rocky Top get their horses adored. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top,
Wonderful. Wake you up this morning.
All right. And here's Lieutenant Governor Don Siegelman, along with Steve Means. Siegelman, of course, a dedicated public servant, Secretary of State, Attorney General, before becoming Lieutenant Governor, his present office. The mark of his service in every office has been enthusiasm, energy, and innovation, coupled with good sense decisions.
That's right. And in the car with him, of course, is our mayor, Steve Means, who's first elected to office in 1974, and I believe at that time the nation's youngest mayor. Isn't that
That's
right,
right.
Jay?
Yeah, his campaign slogan was Steve Means Business, I think. And it's been a tremendous expansion of recreational facilities and cultural opportunities. He is, in fact, proud of the city's history and enthusiastic about his future. Now, what do we have here? People of Gadsden, we love you. Our Kiwanis Club entry. Proud member of the Kiwanis Club myself of the city of Gadsden.
And as you well know, they do great work, Jay.
Yeah, and we thought about it. What better way could we have symbolized the Kiwanis Club than some of the things that we've done? We build is our motto, so we wanted to put our little train that we put up at Nakalula Falls Park on display, so we figured out a way to do it, and there it is. The Kiwanis Club train.
And your club, I guess, is the 4th oldest in the state.
Yes,
is that
it
right,
is.
Jane?
Began in 1917, and we do a lot of good things. Key clubs, builders clubs. We're real active in the middle schools and various schools around the area. And our thanks to the Kiwanis Club for being a part of our Sesquicentennial parade. Now, Tony's Barbecue.
Our neighbor right down the street.
Yes, indeed. A little history since 1930, and still cooking.
Absolutely. Longest continuously operating restaurant in our city.
All right, next up we've got the Etowah County Masonic Conference, representing all Masonic lodges in the county. Riding in the car is Clyde Holmes, the district lecturer, Bob Moore, assistant district lecturer, Ed Mason, the conference secretary. Mason bodies raise about $1.5 million a day for various charities, including the Blue Lodges, the Shriners, Scottish Rite, York Rite, Eastern Star, Demolay, Rainbow Girls, etc.
And right behind them we have Duck Springs Elementary School. And kids in a one-room schoolhouse celebrating 60 years with their principal, Mr. Tolton.
Look at those old costumes.
Isn't that wonderful?
And is that a Model A, I guess, Ford?
Their school building was one of the last built by the WPA back in 1935.
Good-looking float.
That's nice. They've got period costumes. Like
Very,
you
very
said.
nice. And our Goodyear Scouts. Now, Goodyear has a lot of history here with Gadsden, and what they decided to do was to replicate their clock tower. Very, very good. Now, early plants had New England-style clock towers, Ellen.
That's right.
And Chairman Paul Litchfield's request, of course, they built one here. Gadsden's lone remaining factory still in operation with a clock tower. As a matter of fact, July 11th, 1929, President Herbert Hoover pressed a button in Washington, sent a signal over telegraph wires that raised Goodyear's flag on the clock tower.
Isn't that interesting?
And it's great. I love that. The company's newest plant in 1929 in Gadsden during dedication ceremonies, and that is a great replication of that clock tower. Love it.
Beautiful float. And followed quickly behind Goodyear's Wingfoot Express.
All
Akron
right.
to Boston Express.
There you go.
1917 Packard truck.
Look at that thing. Isn't that great?
It is great.
Look at it's got wooden spokes in the wheels. I don't know if
Says
they
it's
can
the
catch a shot of
forerunner-
that.
The forerunner of interstate trucking dates back to 1917.
Motorize the farm. All right. That's great.
That
And
is
of course, a depiction of Goodyear's balloon blimp, correctly called Zeppelins, if you will. Nicknamed blimps for the sound that echoed from their taut fabric when thumped. Blimp, blimp. That's pretty neat. I didn't know that.
It is. They
Start-
began making them back in 1911.
Huh.
It's fascinating. At one time, we were talking earlier too, Jay, about the photographs on display at the Gadsden Public Library, and the actual hangar for the blimps is here in Gadsden.
It still is. As a matter, I think they use it for storage now. But
That's right.
3 blimps are in use today. Each crew has 5 pilots, 16-member ground crew, and a public relations representative as well too. Attaboy, Goodyear. Yeah.
That's right. We appreciate their involvement.
And
WGAD,
I was just
AM
waving
1350.
Yeah, Randy Frawley, WGAD. Happy birthday, Gadsden. It says. That's his little cream puff. A little Mustang there. And the next float that we have coming up is our entry from
The
city
city
of
of
Gadsden.
Gadsden.
Spirit of Citizenship. It says, proud of our past, confident of our future.
What a beautiful float. And of course, the Spirit of Citizenship is the new monument that's going to be dedicated in honor of our birthday.
Looks
the
like-
dedication is actually today at 5.
We got a depiction of Emma Sansom, if you see her now, pointing to the new monument.
That's wonderful.
That is terrific. And then, of course, the Alabama Princess.
Right. And proud of our past, confident of our future is the theme of today's parade.
Alabama Princess, of course, the steamship, the early steamships depicted here on this great float from the city of Gadsden.
That's right. And today, the Spirit of Citizenship monument will be dedicated, Jay, and a few of the awards will be given out at 5 o'clock. It's part of our celebration.
While we have a moment, oh, here comes, look at this little Mercedes.
How nice.
Indeed.
From Gadsden High School.
Yes.
Members of their Student Government Association, Claire Cosby, Jamonica Doremus, and April Nelson.
The sponsor is Mrs. Melinda Hawkins. The original building of Gadsden High was constructed in 1923 at the present site, 23 classrooms, auditorium, lunchroom, and 12 other rooms. Murphy Stadium built in 1937 by the WPA.
Isn't that amazing?
The 1937 reorganization of school programs to add 12-year levels. Then 11th grade system operated on a 7-4 plan, 7 years elementary, 4 years high school, 12 years changed, or 12 years changed plan to 6-3-3. And the main structure burned in 1972. A lot of people remember that. Reconstructed shell around the old building. Ah, look at that little Gadsden.
Happy to be here today.
Good to see ya. It's a beautiful day for a parade, let me tell you. Gadsden High cheerleaders. They're walking, of course, as you see now. And if you are just tuning in, we are proudly showing you here on Comcast the Sesquicentennial Celebration Parade, 150 years of Gadsden history. And as you see, Gadsden High founded in 1924. These beautiful cheerleaders.
That's right.
They're the
Okay.
varsity cheerleaders, 13 sophomores, junior seniors. The junior varsity has 8 freshman cheerleaders. And the Tiger mascot, Brittany Wharton. She's a sophomore. We certainly hope you're enjoying our parade. I'm Jay Holland, along with Ellen Coffey. Ellen is the big cheese at Comcast.
Now, Jay.
She, of course, is responsible for this broadcast and coordinated a lot of folks and helped getting a lot of people together to get this done. And Ellen, it's no small task. We appreciate what
Well,
you've done.
thank you. We're just happy to be involved.
You bet. Okay, up next, more Gadsden High. Boy, I tell you, you hear a lot of good stories about Gadsden High over the years, a lot of good graduates. This is Pie Petrie here.
Originally class of 1936.
Yes, indeed. Pie and her daughter Puddin are good friends, and I tell you, they're great people and
Also,
we really
have
appreciate them.
Dora Jean Hill was a graduate in 1944, Jay, back to celebrate our birthday.
Watt Lipscomb is a graduate of Gadsden High, along with Charlie Bowman, a lot of people like that. You know, you get to thinking about folks, and gosh, you start mentioning names and we're going to get in trouble again.
Exactly.
But I tell you what, it's a great high school, and they represent our city very well.
And here comes their band. The Gadsden High School Marching Band, 130 members. Directors Scott Berry and Kent Morrow performing Gadsden High School fight song.
Oh, yeah.
Their drum major is Betty Faith.
Band captain Keith Hawley, percussion captain Melissa Schrader, dance line captain Stephanie Hartzog, flag captain Kim Jackson. Let's listen in.
Take just a minute, Jay, to brag on Buddy Faith, the drum major of the band. He attends church with me at Trinity Lutheran, where his father's our pastor, and Buddy's a great kid. Glad to see him involved with the band this year. He's very excited.
Absolutely. Up next, Gregerson's Foods Incorporated float. Yes, indeed. They're going to depict, after the truck goes by, an old-fashioned grocery store.
As you well know, Mr. Gregerson, of course, is the chairman of the events today for the Sesquicentennial.
And as you see, hometown spirit. That pretty well says it for Pete, let me tell you.
It absolutely does.
He is very, very involved in Gadsden, always has been. And I'm proud, very humbled to be associated with a guy like Peter Gregerson. Now, the old-fashioned grocery store depiction here. There's a little story behind this of somebody gave Peter many years ago an old picture that looked like it said Pete and Tom's Grocery. And he had always cherished it, and it looked kind of like this depiction they have. So that's what they decided to do. And here's some of the Gregerson's kids, some of the grandkids there.
And again, keeping with our theme today, proud of our past and confident in our future.
So they look like an old-fashioned grocery store. And then on the other end, the opposite end of the truck, they have a depiction of a new modern grocery store there. So I think that's pretty neat.
It's very nice.
And
Riverview Regional Medical Center is next, right behind Gregerson's.
Yes, indeed. As a matter of fact, they have celebrating 70 years of service to the community, 1926 to 1996. Riverview Regional Medical Center. For many years, was just simply known as Holy Name.
That's right.
And for many years.
people still.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Riverview, very, very conscientious, and we really appreciate them being a part of our parade.
And next we have Janice Anderson, Miss Etowah County, 1997.
Yes, indeed. Sponsored by the Gadsden Mall, preliminary to Miss Alabama and Miss America, both pageants, 76 years old, of course. Miss Etowah County awards scholarships, money to talented and intelligent young women, intellectually superior young women who reside and work or attend school in Etowah County. There she is. Gadsden Mall, of course, somewhat sponsoring, 20 years going. The only enclosed shopping mall in Etowah County. Up next, the Gadsden Area Chamber of Commerce. What a great float this is, let me tell you.
Keep the ball.
And, of course, the Chamber of Commerce responsible for such great events in Gadsden as Riverfest. And they were formed in 1913, so this is their 83rd year, Ellen. Of course, most Chamber of Commerces pride themselves in increasing economic opportunity for members and area citizens. They also serve as PR for the community. Information Services Center assists small businesses, handle 3 important economic development programs: retiree development, convention marketing, and commercial development, and the agribusiness development.
And they do a wonderful job for us here.
Ah, yes. WGMZ Good Music, 93.1, our next entry here. Owners Byron Fincher, Barbara Fincher, good friends of mine. Station for timeless music and timely news. Jess Smith, of course.
And Ray Steele.
Yep, and Ray Steele doing the news. And up next, the Rotary Club is our next entry.
Actually, we have the Gadsden Head Start float.
Oh, yes.
That's right, with Director Catherine Barrett. Head Start is a child development program, one of many pilot programs in the United States to help Well, in our area, helps 300 families. Comprehensive services covering medical, dental, nutrition, parenting classes, teaching parent involvement.
We do want to say a little bit about the Rotary Club. They apparently got out of position or something, but really very active as well too. Many of the members are active in this particular endeavor as well too.
Absolutely.
So thanks to the Rotary Club for the help that they have indeed given to this effort. And Catherine Barrett, of course, what can you say about her? What a great public servant she is.
That's
Worked with
right.
her on many projects, and she is terrific, let me tell you.
They've
Next
got
up, the Coca-Cola unit. Every bottle of Coca-Cola sterilized. In 1986, the 10-bay route truck painted with Coca-Cola colors of the 1930s. There you go. Love it. All right, Mayor Sue Glidewell.
There's Sue.
Yes,
There she
indeed. The mayor of Rainbow City, just winning re-election for several terms. I can't remember how many, but she's been there a good while. Very well respected and loved public servant.
Absolutely serves our area well.
Yes, indeed.
Has served in the recent past as the president of the League of Municipalities as well.
And
Jay.
here's the Reaching Over the Rainbow to the Future float from Rainbow City.
Home of the oldest church in Etowah County.
Yes, indeed. Old Harmony right there on Highway 411. As a matter of fact, many recreational facilities, including basketball, baseball, softball, pee-wee football, soccer, tennis, educational opportunities, and business opportunities. Industrial Park on Highway 77, Rainbow City. Reaching over the rainbow to the future. Next up, the Antique Automobile Club.
Wonderful. And first, a 1935 Packard driven by Tommy Jones.
Isn't that cool?
Very nice.
Then
Very
a
nice.
1958 Chevy driven by Mr. Waits. A 1963 Ford by Gene Stevens. 1929 Ford driven by Bill Dowdy and others. There's a Corvette. Look at that bright
Beautiful
yellow
day
Corvette.
to be in a convertible, isn't
Oh,
it, Jay?
man. That looks like about a 70 model. Person that owns that Corvette, that's a good friend of mine, Mark Tao, owns that Corvette. And a beautiful car indeed.
From
Look at that
Gadsden.
old Ford.
Antique Auto Club.
I'm telling you. There's the 63, I believe. The Antique Auto Club, very active in the community. And I tell you, I've lately been getting the hankering myself to kind of get an old car and fix it up, Here's Alabama's 3340.
Our good friend Dixon Hayes.
Yes,
I
indeed.
believe John Mangum.
Local area newsmen, and I tell you, there's still a lot of excitement and over the big switch.
That's
And
right.
Alabama's 3340.
WJSU
a
recently
great job.
becoming an ABC affiliate.
Yeah, working with the Tuscaloosa station, Channel 33.
Covering our news.
Indeed. Yeah, there's John Mangum. Hey, John. All right. All right.
Next, we've got the Cahaba Girl Scout Council.
Oh, yeah.
Celebrating their 85th birthday this year, Jay. March 1997.
Look at these little kids. I tell you what, nothing like scouting. Girl Scouting or Boy Scouting, let me tell you, that is a real, when you're a kid, that makes a difference. And sometimes, I tell you, and
Selling
we just,
cookies.
yes, indeed, we had a good time.
And they're celebrating our birthday today with birthday hats, party horns. You can hear them coming down the street.
Of course, before you're a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout, you got to be a brownie or a Cub Scout. That's fun. Ah, look here. I tell you, if anybody listening has not gotten involved in scouting in some way, you should do it. Should check into it. You can't say enough about the scouting program for both girls and boys.
Wonderful
And we'll have Boy Scouts, I'm sure, a little bit later on. But they have fun. They work well together. They go and do things together. And it's just nothing like being a kid and being a
Summertime
scout.
camp.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cookie
Oh, yeah.
sales.
Really, really good, wholesome organizational work for kids of that age. And we thank very much the Cahaba Girl Scouts. The girls are dressed in their uniforms worn throughout the year, so you may see some older looking uniforms or whatever. Girls are wearing their birthday hats, hopefully as well, too, celebrating
That's right.
150 years of the City of Champions. Indeed, that is what we are doing here. You're watching a parade on Comcast of Gadsden Sesquicentennial Celebration Parade. And boy, what a day we have today.
Beautiful day to be outside.
Indeed, a great lineup, too, of things and activities going on all day today. And we certainly hope you get a chance to take part in all of them. Here's the Center for Cultural Arts, Ellen.
That's right. From their office, of course, right down the street, Jay, here on Broad. The Cultural Arts Foundation was established in 1984 to plan a highly visible hub of arts for our city to enhance Gadsden as a place to live.
Now, they opened the doors in 1990, January, the Cultural Arts Facility for the citizens of Gadsden and Etowah County.
They do great work. Their programs and projects include the Youth Orchestra, who, of course, is performing tonight.
Oh, yes.
The School for the Arts, Ballet with Dee Dee Lita, Imagination Place, it just goes on and on. The Model Railroad, Center Stage Presents. They've had several exhibits dealing with the Sesquicentennial to teach history to the children all summer.
Really neat float they got. Celebrate from Cool and the Gang on.
That's a great idea. And of
Celebrate,
course,
good time.
from their Ya-Ya program this summer.
Look at Bobby Welch back there. Can we get a shot of Bobby?
Center director,
he's
dancing
the center director.
down Broad Street.
He's the guy in the T-shirt doing the real dancing, guys. I don't know if you can catch him or not.
They're having a great time, and as always, involving all the
There he
youth from
is.
our
There's
area.
Bobby. All right, yeah. Look at him. Boogie and Bobby. Let me tell you, the guy is loose.
Tie-dye T-shirts. And
Attaboy, Bob. I tell you, Bobby Welch is a good guy. He does a great job with these kids, and I've known him for a long time, even back when he was in the car business, and he was good then, and he's good now.
So involved with the children. Well, of course, all of their staff is there. We see Leisha Brown out dancing down Broad Street.
Yes, it was a great float. Next up, oh my gosh, it's Rick and Bubba, the Funmobile.
Oh, and I think Speed Racer's with them.
Oh yeah, that's
Calvin Speed Racer.
That's a crew there, let me tell you. Rick and Bubba probably out, as they like to say, hardest working men in radio. They're probably out working somewhere, they say.
Right, with the Q104 station van is here, and the Funmobile.
Yes, indeed.
They began back in 1974. Next up, we have the Pilot Club of Gadsden, a civic organization here for women serving Gadsden and the Etowah area. Irene Lee is the governor.
Yeah, and right behind that Pilot Club Camaro, there they are. Yeah.
We have Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. They're also, of course, have been involved in the birthday celebration, and they are later today with the big men.
Yep, there's
sponsoring lunch.
Here's our Alpha Kappa Alpha. Yeah.
Here they are. Organized in 1908, the local chapter was just organized 20 years ago, but they've been very active.
They're promoting finer womanhood. I like that. They have service organization efforts to the Salvation Army, and they sponsor a Festival of Trees summer reading program from 4 locations. They sponsor one black event during the summer, and Arts Museum and sponsor tea for graduating seniors at city schools, co-sponsored the United Negro College Fund, and Most Outstanding Workers and Mothers of the Year, Manna with Money, and workers.
And as I mentioned earlier, today at the amphitheater, they're going to be helping the big men distribute lunch, free lunch.
The Voters League coming up. Here we still have the Etowah County NAACP following the Alpha Kappa Alpha group right now. Here we go. And now, here's our Etowah County Voters League coming up. Something very important, like I was going to say, especially with 'tis the season on your mind.
Absolutely, it is.
You got to start thinking about that here for very much longer. That's right. Hey, how you doing?
Followed next by Bob Wilson, Democratic candidate for the 4th Congressional District. Of course, Congressman Bevel retiring.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Bob Wilson and his wife. Bob Wilson Jr. from the Jasper area.
'Tis the season, politic and politic.
Absolutely.
And right behind him comes Roger Bedford, looks like. And no, that's just the Etowah County Democratic Party. Ta-da! It's got a Bedford sign on the front. And look in the white cowboy hat, and he would be wearing a white hat. Billy Yates. Billy, of course, is your circuit clerk for Etowah County and chairman of the Etowah County Democratic Party. And some of the other members of the Democrat Party there. There's Judy Pitts.
Representing our local office.
Yes, indeed. And nice float.
And as you said, Jay,
tis the season for politicking. All right, there's Billy. Next up,
the Epilepsy Outreach for Etowah County.
They are, of course, founded in March of 1996. Always remember, we are shaken but not stirred is their motto. I like that. Founded, like I said, in March of 96. Outreach meets Thursday at Morrison's. Public awareness and support. There you go. And coming up next,
The Gadsden JCs, working with government and service to our community. They sponsor, of course, the Haunted House. Again, 'tis the season, Jay.
Oh, yes, it is.
Halloween will be here before we know it. They have the Haunted House every year as a fundraiser. Here's
They-
Leatherface.
They got the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s depicted here with various folks carrying the banners. Yes, indeed. There's Rick Vaughn I see in the crowd. He's involved with the Veterans Affairs, and we'll be talking a little bit about that a little bit more as well, too. Some other notable members of the community there involved in that endeavor as well, too.
We have the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Alabama represented right behind the JCs. Basil Gilchrist, of course, became the executive director. That's the group that's marking the 1950s,
Yes,
60s,
that's indeed.
70s, and 80s.
There you go. All right, and Basil, of course, executive director in the 50s, 60s, the marchers. Rick Vaughn, as I mentioned, Keith Pitts, Chuck Durham, Gary Archer. The Black Creek building dedicated in 1968. First black member joined in that year, 1970s. The marchers, John Reed, Pat Stewart. East Gadsden building built in 72. And a lot of good things, a lot of good history
Right,
for
Rick
the
DeLilla.
Boys and Girls Club. Rick DeLilla, of course, the current.
Fabulous job.
Yes, indeed.
Our next float is the Alabama City Merchants Association.
Here we go.
Step by step, children becoming our future.
God bless our children.
Students are from Walnut Park Elementary and Floyd Elementary in Alabama City.
Adults, parents, children, and officers of Merchants Association
Very
involved in
patriotic
this float
float.
here. Yes, indeed.
Red, white, and blue, waving their flags.
All right, next up, Kicks Country, 102.9 FM.
Etowah's hometown country station. Now, we were speaking earlier, Jay, of the Gadsden Times and their involvement with these events. Today's
This is great.
edition celebrating our birthday. City set for the
I
big
wanna
day
tell
was
you.
our headline. Happy 150th.
Gadsden. And
They've done an outstanding job in promoting the events of this week, this weekend,
oh, absolutely.
special events, and the history of our area.
This is also involved in this presentation, the Gadsden Etowah Historical Society. They are involved with the Gadsden Times on this, and if there's several people there, including, I believe, that is Mr. George Kennedy in the Confederate gray. He is one of he is called a real son. His father was wounded twice in the Battle of Gettysburg. It's Mr. Kennedy there. He lives, I believe, just over the mountain in Reed City. And then, of course, there is the giant newspaper box representing enormous commitment to bring the best local news, et cetera, to Gadsden area neighbors. And it's designed by the employees. Isn't that great?
That is wonderful. And of course, the headline in the box reads, "The celebration was a success."
Yes, I
Happy
love that. That's a good
150th.
idea.
That's
for
a
the Gadsden
wonderful,
Times. I love that.
wonderful entry.
That may be what Sunday's paper is going to look like. The future. All right.
Now we can hear Litchfield High School's band.
Now, Mr. Tony Reddick, I've had the pleasure of working with him in the last few years in various capacities. He's a great artist. He's a good motivator of these kids.
Of course, the principal there at
And,
Litchfield High.
yeah, and he is really on the ball with this Litchfield High School bunch, let me tell
And the
you.
Magnet School program as well. They're the
Yeah.
Advanced Technology Center.
So, as you see, Litchfield High School band. And they're decked out in the Sesquicentennial t-shirts. By the way, I was just talking with some of the people, Ellen, Sesquicentennial paraphernalia. Now, this will be collectible one of these days, I'm sure, for the city
You're
of
right.
Gadsden.
T-shirts, caps.
T-shirts, caps, buttons, like I've been wearing. There's a t-shirt there, as you can say. It
Depicting
says,
the monument.
"Proud of our past, confident of our future." And as Ellen said, depicting our monument we hope to build. Let's listen a little bit to the Litchfield band.
Litchfield Banjo, directed by Harold Watson.
Yep.
Participates in several different festivals during the year, many parades, such as this one and our Christmas parade coming soon.
Next up,
Low Security.
yeah, he's right in front of the float you're watching on Comcast right now. If we can get a shot of Jack Lowe Sr. He's now, you talk about some history. This boy, he knows some history. There he is in the car.
Keeping
There's old
Gadsden
Jack.
safe since 1968.
He's a great guy. He really is a pleasure to talk to sometimes if you get a chance. And
Up next, my neighbors, the United Way.
right behind Jack, yeah, let me see here. What do we got? Looks
United
pretty good.
Way. That's right. They have a float today. Of course, their campaign is underway. Our campaign, I should say, Jay. John Leffler heading up this year's 96-97 campaign. But their float today has
Representative of the 27 agencies that they
That's
serve.
exactly right. Reaching those who need help in Etowah County.
You see all the agency flags as well, too. And
This year's theme is to be a superhero, and there's Superman in the center of their float.
yeah, look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Superman leading the superheroes to victory. All right.
Began 58 years ago here in Etowah County. During 43 years, our United Way has raised over $24 million.
Indeed, some of the great agencies: Red Cross, ARC, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Boys Club, Girls Club, Child Advocacy Center, Darden Rehab.
That's right, our first call for help.
Emergency, yeah, foster homes, 4-H clubs, food bank, Gadsden Community Education, Senior Citizens Program, Health, Home Health, MANA, Kidney Foundation, RSVP, Salvation Army.
Of course, the director, Karen Owen.
Yep. All right, up next, got a nice looking little red Firebird there.
Mr.
And that is Ms. Senior Etowah County.
Hazel Halsey.
Yeah.
Again, a beautiful day to be in a convertible.
She was also in the Centennial Parade several years ago.
50 years ago.
As a matter of fact, I was in the library 2 or 3 years ago, and the Centennial celebration is well documented. You got to go to the microfiche files and pull it out, but the Gadsden Times did a good job even then.
Wonderful. And
How
see, of
about
course,
that?
that's our purpose today,
There
to
you go.
document the events celebrating our birthday, to have in our time capsule.
There was a good bit of celebration up around the up on North 3rd, up around some of the older buildings there in Gadsden. There was a big get-together, and they had some dinner on the grounds over there. It was really interesting to read about the Centennial celebration 50 years ago. And as Peter Gregerson, a lot of the organizers here like to say, we're going to put a lot of this stuff in a time capsule, and 50 years from now, during the 200th celebration, the residents will open up. And
Absolutely.
And hey, if we're still around, we'll be able to see what we did 50 years ago. Like this beautiful Hazel Halsey has seen the Centennial and now involved in the Sesquicentennial. That's neat.
That's right, sponsored by the Cameo Club of Etowah County.
Yes, indeed.
And our next float is from DGI, Kathy Back's group, Downtown Gadsden Incorporated. Their theme is What Was Old Is New Again, celebrate downtown.
As a matter of fact, Ellen, just right down the street from where we are here at 3rd and Broad, there is a brand new building that has been built that is modeled in the style of the old buildings.
That's right.
And it is gorgeous. And we really appreciate Kathy Back and what they've been doing for DGI in downtown Gadsden lately. The lights on the rooftops portray positive growth for downtown. Architectural features are being restored. The old buildings are indeed looking good.
That's right. And after today's parade, of course, we'll have a downtown. The area will be open for shopping.
Good shot of the Gadsden Fire Department. Oh, look at there, a little firefighter in there. Boy, don't you know that's every kid's dream.
Absolutely.
Sitting in the fire truck. Gosh, what would I have done at 5 years old to have gotten to do that? Man, that's a big deal right there. And that's the big pumper truck too from Gadsden.
That's right, a 100-foot ladder truck placed in service in '82.
From a loosely organized bucket brigade with wells spaced along Broad Street in the 1800s, the Gadsden Fire Department has indeed seen many changes. The early evolution of the department was disaster-driven. The need for fire protection demonstrated by several blazes that resulted in major losses to the city of Gadsden and citizens. These losses prompted the formation of an organized fire department that has grown in size and technology, providing the citizens of Gadsden with fire protection, medic services, and low insurance ratings. All right.
Next, we have Gadsden State Community College. Clubs and organizations precede their flow.
Science, math, engineering. All right.
Originally, Gadsden State was the Alabama School of Trades back in 1925. Then there was Gadsden State Junior College in 1965, and the two merged in the 60s. Actually, the three schools, Gadsden State Technical Institute, merged in 1985 to form Gadsden State.
And some of the organizations you see represented, BCM, the Baptist Campus Ministry, International Club. Yeah. The t-shirt, yeah, it's got a t-shirt on G-Day. All right. We hope you're enjoying our Comcast presentation of the Sesquicentennial celebration here on Comcast. Jay Holland and Ellen Coffey, who is the general manager of Comcast of Gadsden, doing a great job with the Sesquicentennial celebration. We appreciate Comcast and the efforts that they make to make our community better. Indeed, they do. WSGN, also a part of Gadsden State Community College. Originally called WEXP, WSGN was added several years ago upon the selling of WSGN in Birmingham. WSGN now at Gadsden State Community College. Neil Mullen, the station director.
That's
There's
right.
little Gadsden State security there with the American flag flying, and pulling some more Gadsden State.
That's right. They have students from the first
Kids.
classes of the 3 schools on this float.
All
From
right.
the trade school, Coley Hill was the first student graduate in 1928.
How about that? That's great.
Mr. Willie Brown was the Gadsden Trade School's first technical graduate back in 1963. And in the junior college, we have Pat Sherman representing the class of 65.
Nice presentation by Gadsden State overall.
That's right. We appreciate their involvement in today's parade.
Etowah County Sheriff's Department, and now this is one of my favorite jobs that they do. And as a matter of fact, Ellen, invariably when I ride by these guys picking up trash
That's
along the
right.
side of the road, I always throw my hand up and say, hey, I appreciate you guys, even though, you know, of course, they're serving their time, and that's what they should do.
That's right.
But they pick up the trash, and this is great.
The Clean and Beautiful Commission, of course, is a joint
Yep.
venture between the Sheriff's Department.
It's the Influence Program.
And today is supposed to be, and we hope that it is, a
A
litter-free
litter-free day.
parade.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They picked up over 3 million pounds of trash since 1994. Great job. Alabama Power. They began, of course, it began in Gadsden in the late part of the century, early part of this century.
I believe 1906.
Yep, and as a matter of fact, this float is depicting the early days and then the newer days. Really a good idea. It began, of course, in Gadsden. Lafferty's Landing, as it's sometimes called, but Alabama Power. And the actual building of Alabama Power, where it is today, is the old original home place of the founder, Colonel Lay, I believe it was his name.
That's right. Next up, we have from Hoax Bluff High School's Drama Department. Students costumed in red, white, and blue, waving their flags for today's celebration.
The Bluff. All right. A little spirit there of the Sesquicentennial celebration. They do have green trucks. I did notice that. I knew that they had to have green somewhere. Hoax Bluff, of course, famous for that green and white that they usually wear in almost all their depictions. But right now they're wearing their red, white, and blue for the Sesquicentennial. Good job.
Followed promptly by Robert Adderholt, Republican candidate for 4th Congressional District.
Yep.
Again, Congressman Bevel.
He is from Haleyville, Alabama. And Robert Adderholt, the Republican nominee.
So followed closely by the Etowah County Republican Party's float.
It's a good shot of Robert. And gosh, the Republican Party, let me tell you, nice looking float here. It's the first time I've seen it. I've been out of town a good bit of the day and hadn't had a chance. There's Noah Dean Miller and Bobby Grissom. As a matter of fact, the Etowah County Republican Party's come a long way in the past few years. 2 years ago, Roy Smith was elected a state senator. Roy Moore elected circuit judge. And on the float today, 6 candidates are aboard, as a matter of fact. And we appreciate the Etowah County Republican Party for being a part. There's James Clay there behind Bobby Grissom. And Jerry Hurd over behind him. And I believe that's Dale Neighbors' wife waving to the crowd there as well. Next up, WAAX.
News Talk 570, an ABC affiliate, first began here in 1947. Of course, we always appreciate their
I think
participation.
their original call letters were WGWD, I believe. And that's some more of that history there, and go back and check that, but I believe that's what it was.
Of course, they're helping us tonight as well, Jay, with the simulcast of the fireworks celebration.
Yes, yes indeed. News Talk 570, WAAX. And we appreciate them being a part of our Sesquicentennial celebration. I'm Jay Holland along with Ellen Coffey. You're enjoying the Sesquicentennial Parade
That's
from
right,
the
Jay.
city of Gadsden, right here at our position at 3rd and Broad on a beautiful Saturday, the 12th day of October, about high 60s. It's a perfect day for a parade, perfect temperature, and Ellen, hey, what more can you ask for?
Perfect birthday celebration.
I'm
A lot
telling
of
you.
planning's gone into today, Jay.
And coming up, some of those kids that we were talking about again, here comes the Cubbies.
All right, the Etowah County Boy Scouts of America.
Cub Scouts leading the way. Ah, look at there. Those kids are ready, aren't they? Got their little flags. As a matter of fact, adult leaders and scouts representing all communities within Gadsden and Etowah County.
Again,
And they're trying to get uniforms in there from different times as well.
Right,
too.
like the Girl Scouts were earlier.
Right.
Again, a wonderful program for children to be involved with.
Oh yeah, you can't beat the scouting organization. All right, next up. This is the Emma Sansom High School first graduating class of 1931.
That's right, Estelle John Sisson and Mary Turner Barfield.
All right, look at those beautiful women there. And that the great Emma Sansom High School. And another heroine of our past, Emma Sansom. If we get a chance, maybe we can talk a bit about that. We get a lull, but Emma Sansom very well represented by the students of Emma Sansom High School, and I am sure Emma Sansom would be flattered if she knew a high school was named after her.
Absolutely. Next we have Emma Sansom's High School Rebel Band, 132 members strong, directed by Russ Waits. Emma Sansom has, Jay, a total of 25% of their total student body in the band.
How about that?
Wonderful participation.
Performed in the 1996 Cherry Blossom Festival in Washington, D.C. 4th place band overall, 1st place dance line and color guard, 3rd place drum major. The Class 2A champions, Heart of Dixie Band Festival, Prattville, Alabama, 1995. Best in percussion and dance line, the Emma Sansom High School Rebel Marching Band. If anybody's ever interested in Emma Sansom, and certainly she is depicted in a granite here at the end of Broad Street as well, too, right before you go over the Memorial Bridge. But in the library you can go and read about Emma Sansom and the event that really memorialized her in the Pryor and Jordan account of the campaigns of Lieutenant General Nathan Bedford Forrest. It's very well documented, and in fact that is the only book that General Forrest ever saw while he was alive. He died in 1877, but that Pryor and Jordan work was the only one that he ever endorsed himself. So if you're interested, you might check that out from the Gadsden Public Library. And that, of course, is General Forrest's own recollections of the heroism of Emma Sansom. Big band, Ellen.
Absolutely. Like I said, over 132 members performing in today's parade.
We hope you're enjoying our Comcast broadcast of the Gadsden Sesquicentennial celebration. It is indeed an honor to be here with Ellen Coffey. I'm Jay Holland, and we hope you're enjoying the parade. You know, Ellen, we always have the Christmas parade, which is only probably a couple of 3 or 4 weeks off.
That's right.
But and we've had other homecoming parades for high schools and things. Gadsden High will have a homecoming parade downtown Gadsden during the day. But never we had a parade of this magnitude during the
That's
day.
right.
This is wonderful.
It's wonderful to celebrate our birthday.
Yeah, the Christmas parade is always a big deal, and we always have a lot of people, and we have a lot of floats and things like that. But this has really turned out very, very
150
nicely.
years is cause for celebration.
Okay, and here we have the depiction of General Forrest and Emma Sansom riding behind with, of course, riding side saddle, if you will.
Absolutely. Emma Sansom today is portrayed by student Olivia Guthrie.
Yep. And the General, Chad Bailey.
On horseback.
And there's a little story about that. As a matter of fact, pretty interesting in the Pryor and Jordan account. Emma's mother didn't want her to go. As a matter of fact, she said, "Saddle a horse, Emma." Said, "You can ride side saddle behind me." And she said, but Emma, people will talk." And Emma quickly responded to her mother, "I don't care for people's talk." R.A. Mitchell School.
With Principal Dr. Cindy Ellsbury.
Founded
Again,
in
back in
1950.
1950. That's right, Jay. Named after Colonel Mitchell, mayor of Gadsden. Lived here between 1853 and 1937. Helped to start Dwight Mills.
Yep. Now that's a neat story too, Dwight Mills. And unfortunately, they just raised the building just a few years ago.
That's right. They've been celebrating this, along with the Sesquicentennial, the history of Dwight Mills.
As a matter of fact, the school is on the site of the main Noccalula Falls Pavilion, stopping place from people who came up the mountain on the streetcar. Principal Dr. Cindy Ellsbury. Cute kids. And coming up next, our Gadsden Beautification Board Horse and Doctor's Carriage.
The buggy's over 100 years old.
How about that?
Martha Radcliffe in a Southern Belle dress in this two-seater carriage.
The purpose of the board is to award people for keeping their yard clean, and the board plaques, of course, placed in there for a year.
That's right.
Very, very nice. And there's Martha. The horse and doctor's carriage. I like that.
Nice
As a matter of
way to
fact,
take a buggy ride.
my great-grandfather was a doctor and made house calls. In fact, I have his stick pin, his diamond stick pin that he used to wear years and years ago.
The next float is from First United Methodist Church, the oldest church in Gadsden. Their theme today is From Saddlebags to Satellite. Log cabin.
Hey, you can
Oh,
relate to that, can't you,
wonderful.
Ellen?
Absolutely. Children dressed in period costumes again.
Founded in 1846 by General Turrentine, formed a community Sunday school called Uncle T's Sunday School. Isn't that great?
That is wonderful. Became our first church.
Neat. All right, next up, Quacker Jack.
Quacker Jack and Arnie are here to wish us all a happy birthday
There's Arnie.
from Jack's Hamburgers.
Oh, it's Barney, isn't it? Not Arnie.
It is. It is.
That's Barney.
That purple dinosaur.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, they just left off the B there. B for Barney. Barney and Quacker Jack. Can't beat that for a Sesquicentennial celebration, can we? I tell you, we're having a great time, and in case you just joined us, we are celebrating 150 years as a city organized in 1846. The city of Gadsden, 150 years old. Walnut Grove. Wait a second here. That's not Walnut Grove, is it? I can't read. It's just got some smiley balloons. Hi there, guy. What does he say here? Don't worry, be happy.
I believe that it is. The mayors of Walnut Grove.
Is that okay?
Both Mayor
There you
Scruggs
go.
and Mayor Works from over the years.
Well, I knew that they were
1976.
coming back in the vintage car here.
That's right.
As a matter of fact,
Former Mayor Autry Works.
yeah. So we can get a shot carry that old Chevy. Boy, that is sharp. Let me tell you. There we go. There we go. Now I knew that was the Walnut Grove, and that's indeed. I guess that's the old and new look there. We were a little slow catching on there, Ellen. There we go. Walnut Grove, Mayor W.T. Scruggs.
That's right. He was the former mayor, I should say.
Yeah.
All
There we
true
go.
words.
All right. And the YMCA. All right. This is a nice looking float. YMCA, of course, established in London in 1844. Founded basketball in 1891. Founded volleyball in 1894. Gadsden YMCA established here in 1959. So they have a depiction of a float that shows basketball and soccer. Or volleyball, I should say. Looks like a soccer ball. YMCA playing. There we go. YMCA. I see a lot of people I know in that bunch. Let me tell you, there's Pat Griffith. She's of course, the director of the YMCA and a member of our Gadsden Kiwanis Club. A bunch of kids having a good time. The Y. All right.
Followed closely by the Humane Society of Etowah County.
Aw, hey.
Serving our area for 24 years.
I love it.
Taking care of the area's
adopt
animals.
a pet. Cool. Boom. A little action coming on down Broad Street we'll be telling you about in a few minutes. If you heard that explosion there, this is something that is planned. Don't worry. Be happy. All right. More Humane Society pets. And we appreciate the Humane Society. Of course, what a great task that they perform. Thankless in many instances.
Absolutely, Jay. Taking care of animals in our area.
They do a wonderful
Unwanted
job.
animals and finding them homes.
Absolutely. Walking dogs and taking care of them. We really appreciate all of our units here in the Sesquicentennial celebration and our parade on Comcast. Jay Holland along with Ellen Coffey, who's the Ellen, you've been here what, 3 or 4 years?
3 years now, Jay.
Yeah.
So Gadsden's my home
There you
as
go.
well.
There you go. And we're proud to have you as well, too.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you joining us today.
A little bit of notoriety, too, for Ellen. She's one of the few women general managers of a cable system. And just gives you an idea of what kind of a hard worker she really is. And we're proud to have her.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Next up.
the James Gadsden chapter of the DAR with their float and several cars.
Daughters of the American Revolution, of course, and the Sons of the American Revolution. But this is the Princess Nakalula Society of the DAR.
And with them today is their oldest member, Sarah McClendon, 93 years young.
My children are also members of this Princess Nakalula Society.
And Carol Norman joins them. She's their regent.
They have some DAR members in period costumes as well, too. The Daughters of the American Revolution. Now that's an organization that is, boy, you've got to have a direct line straight to an ancestor that fought in the Revolution. It has to be proved.
And they require the genealogy research.
That's right. Very, very good, interesting, and they do a great service to the community, and a very patriotic group. Many awards that they give. Hello. More of that excitement coming up.
A little anticipation.
Yes, indeed. Ellen, we got a great crowd for our parade as well, too.
We do. It's a beautiful day to be outside. As you said earlier, the weather's cool. It seems like fall.
Mm-hmm. It is definitely a wonderful day for a parade.
And for all the outdoor activities that are planned.
More kids from the DAR. Now up, we have our next entry. As a matter of fact, that is our logo. Proud of our past, confident of our future. And nice patriotic presentation there. I do believe this is the Gulf State Steel entry. Part of our Gulf State Steel entries. And here we go. Confident of our future, of course, part of our logo, as we said, and working together, Gulf State Steel. There we are. Nice float here depicting working together, of course, the local 2176, Gulf State Steel, and the United Steel Workers of America. A proud group. We really appreciate them, and of course an integral part of our community. There's John Leffler there on the float as well, too, with the steel hat there, waving to the crowd. He's the president of the Gulf State Steel Plant, and of course the union members and representatives as well too. Nicely done. Next up, the Lions Eye Clinic.
That's right. Established in 1950, the Gadsden Lions Club works with Alabama Sight. They're supported by the 8 line screenings every year, Jay.
They do an outstanding job.
They do. All third, 5th graders in the city and county school systems' eyes are tested through this eye clinic. The clinic also provides over 300 pairs of glasses. Numerous corrective surgeries throughout the year. They accepted the challenge from Helen Keller to become Knights for the Blind.
I tell you, they are really a great group, and
They do a
you
wonderful
can't say
job.
enough about the eye endeavors of the Lions clubs of Etowah County.
Their motto, of course, is "We serve."
Nice little MG here. I love those little MGs. They're neat.
Today's the day for a convertible.
Yes, indeed. Lions Club of Etowah County. Good job, folks. We hope you're enjoying the Sesquicentennial celebration and our parade here from the city of Gadsden. From our vantage point here of 3rd and Broad, Ellen Coffey and Jay Holland here. And now Carver High School. Now, you talking about some history.
That's
This is
right.
some good stuff here.
History. Central, of course, began the early years in the city, was torn down back in 1936 when Carver High School began.
We will forever sing her praises, Carver High School.
Dr. Robert Hatch was the first principal.
Yep.
Mr. Shaw was the last principal of Carver before the school was closed, 1971.
Central, of course, the forerunner of Carver High. And this particular presentation is full of the students who attended Carver and Central. Very proud heritage and history here in the city of Gadsden.
It's nice to have the reunion of the 2 schools.
Oh, yeah. Some more participants there from Central, as a matter of fact. Hey, how y'all doing?
Enjoying the day. Big smile.
And up next, as you see the Central bunch going on down Broad Street, and now coming back.
It's a great view of the crowd on Broad.
Yes, indeed. Very
People gathering
very
to
good.
enjoy the day.
Central School, Carver High, more from them as well too. All right, because I couldn't read it. And oh, I never could get that. She had some little message, and the wind got it, and blew it down. She was doing homework on the on the desk. There we go. All right, more from Central and Carver here at our beautiful Sesquicentennial celebration here in the heart of downtown Gadsden. Now coming up, we have the Vocational Industrial Clubs of America.
That's right, VICA.
Student organization for people enrolled in vocational technical programs. Chapter 200 members, sponsors the community service, upholds democracy. 1996, selected #1 nationwide as outstanding chapter. That was a volley fired by
The 48th Alabama
There
Infantry.
you go.
That's right.
This
they
is
reenact
the
war.
reenactors. Yep.
And they are reenacting the Emma Sampson Camp number
Now,
275.
if you'll notice, they have to take those paper cartridges out, tear off the end, pour in the powder down the barrel, then take out their ramrods after they put the bullet in and ram the bullet down. Take out a little cap, put it on the nipple of the hammer, and pull the hammer back and fire again. They're fixing to do that, I do believe.
That's right, we
So
got
get ready,
soldiers.
Ellen.
Thanks, Jay, for the warning this time. We've got soldiers in the Confederate uniforms, of course, marching with
Yep.
bagpipes. I believe we've got a young lady representing.
This is the Emma Sampson Camp 275 Sons of Confederate Veterans as well.
That's right.
And the
few
soldiers in
civilians.
Confederate uniform. You know, a lot of people think everybody wore Confederate gray, and they were all uniforms as they are shown here now. They had various types of uniforms in different styles, and the Confederate Army was a very interesting thing to read about if you ever get a chance. But there they go, and of course the ladies in period uniform
Accompanying
and
the
dress.
troops.
Very, very interesting. Civilians, the period dress, of course, accompany the troops, and of course, you might as well too see some of these beautiful ladies. They indeed, in the early stages of the war, went out, especially the first Bull Run. It was kind of a spectator thing, and pretty well quickly found out that war was not what it was cracked up to be.
It's nice to see them out today.
Next up,
the Gadsden Etowah Tourism Board.
now I want to tell you, this
hard-working group.
This is a good group that represents our area all over the world.
Absolutely. Lloyd Wagnon, I believe on their float to that pike.
Lloyd and I go way back, and we really appreciate that.
And they have a chart on their float depicting our growth.
Tourism dollars.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
They do a wonderful job of promoting Gadsden and the Etowah County area outside the state as well as around the state, showing signs of progress.
Yes,
What they're
there's
going.
Peggy and Lloyd and several other people involved in
I see Miss Cumlin,
the
Peggy
Etowah
Reardon.
Tourism Board. Some folks over there waving at us. We appreciate all the fine efforts on behalf of all of us in Etowah County from
Absolutely.
the Tourism Board. We all benefit from tourism dollars when they're spent here in our area, and you can't put a price on that kind of effort. It is so good for this area.
Up next we have American Signs with owner Steve Stevens. It's been in Gadsden for 26 years.
American Signs, of course, doing a lot of the signs. One of the last hand lettering sign writers left in the area.
That's right. They're here to wish us all a happy birthday today. Glad to have them involved in our parade. Celebrating the all-American city.
High stepping into the 21st century, he says.
That's wonderful.
All right. Coming up is Ura Brown Elementary School.
Began as a 3-room school back in 1955, annexed to Stripling, named, of course, for Principal Ura Brown.
And the horse and buggy is driven by Johnny Williams and Becky Rugstrace, 4th grade teacher with Williams' grandson, Nathan. All right. Now this is our past part of the display there.
That's right. The students are representing professions for their future as well as the past.
Very nice. I love those old buggies. Don't
Isn't it
you love
wonderful?
that?
Wonderful.
In case you're just tuning in, this is the Sesquicentennial Parade, Gadsden's 150 years celebration. Confident of our future, proud of our past. I'm Jay Holland, along with Ellen Coffey, who is the general manager of Comcast. And we really are indulging ourselves here today as citizens of Gadsden and Etowah County.
Absolutely.
There goes another Confederate volley
Another
there.
volley right in front of the Emma Sansom statue. How appropriate.
Tell you. Cute kids, let me tell you. This is an Emma Sansom school. Oh, there's Mr. College Professor right there of the future. All right, Emma Sansom, or I should say Ura Brown. And there are a lot of women that have participated in the city of Gadsden, made our community better. Ura Brown is one of those people, and I tell you, it's altogether fitting that we have schools named after people like Ura Brown and Emma Sansom, and of course a lot of other people that have been involved from the female gender involved here in the city of Gadsden, Etowah County. They've done a great service.
Getting a few shots of folks, parade onlookers, enjoying the sunshine.
That's that building I was talking about, Ellen. See, it's brand new. That was just built here just recently.
That's right. But the architecture's in keeping with the downtown here. That's
exactly
wonderful.
right. It's brand new. Beautifully done, too.
Kings of Swing, I can hear them.
Oh, man. Steve Means and the Kings of Swing.
Now, the mayor has made it from the car at the front of the parade back to join his float in the Kings of Swing.
He kind of got this thing started. He's an old drummer and trumpet player. And
music director at one time.
Well, I believe was band director, I believe,
That's
at Emma
right.
Sansom High School. I could be
So there's
corrected on
Mayor
that.
Means, who, of course, has kicked off this celebration, got the committees together to join.
Little alto sax right there on the front row, little tenor sax. Little trombone. They are really a good group, let me tell you.
Play for a lot of civic events.
And all
fundraisers.
three.
Always good.
It's a volunteer group. There's Dave Barron's on drum. I don't know the guitarist. Dave is also one of our soccer umpires. But Dave's a good friend. We go back a long time. And Dottie McCollum's in the group right there in the center of the screen. Dottie made me a prince one time in Cinderella in 1980. She helped me learn how to sing, and also she's a terrific, wonderful contributor to the community.
Next up, I believe we have Weddings by Rita Allen. Their theme for today, How Do I Love Thee? Let Me Count the Ways. Representing an antique wedding gown.
Oh, that's neat. As a matter of fact, Rita can design a ceremony with your personal dreams with these kinds of old antique type wedding gowns. And up next, Horses and Wagons from the Sand Mountain Saddle Club.
That's right. They work together with the Rainbow Saddle Club to bring the wagon train to town
And
every
that's
year.
another big deal.
It absolutely is.
And I tell you, they really do have a good time with that. It's more than just a ride down to Montgomery now. It's become a tradition.
It has.
And a lot of people look forward to the day the wagon train starts.
And come from all over.
Yep.
To our area.
It is growing every year.
It absolutely is.
So we really appreciate the efforts of all of the folks involved in the Sand Mountain Saddle Club and all of the people that do get involved with the wagon train. Your own Jeff Barber, I believe, gets heavily involved.
Absolutely. He and his wife Marilyn both do.
From Comcast, and they are very integral parts of the wagon train as well. Next up, we have the Women's Club of Gadsden. I wonder if we can get a shot here, Carrie, of the Women's Club directory here. I want to get this on camera so we can, so people can see this.
This, of course, is last year's calendar, but
Yeah,
the
there we go.
1997 calendar will be the commemorative for the Sesquicentennial.
People, you need to get a copy of this. The Women's Club, it's filled full, all kinds of interesting information. You cannot believe all the good stuff in here. And it tells you, it's a civic directory and everything. The Women's Club do an outstanding job. And here they are, here in our parade of the Gadsden Sesquicentennial celebration. So let's get a shot of there they go. And let me tell you, these people do an unbelievable job.
They absolutely do. They began many of the organizations in town. Everything from the music club to museum and theater. It's a group of women who truly do a lot to enhance our community.
They are the best of civic patrons as you can imagine. You cannot get any more organized and very well developed group will do an outstanding job for our area.
And now we do have the Rainbow Saddle Club.
Yeah.
One of the oldest saddle clubs in Alabama. 70 members, 70 families as members.
Rainbow Saddle Club, of course, another part of that wagon train that comes through every year. And let's say hello to our Salvation Army canteen truck. Yes, indeed. There we go. They provide hot meals and other essentials to disaster victims. They go on nightly runs to feed the homeless.
And the Salvation Army has been in Gadsden over 60 years, coming here right after the Great Depression.
Great, great bunch, let me tell you. Next up, the Laney Station Saddle Club from Wellington, Alabama.
Their youngest member is 6 years old. In front of
Ellen,
their
I love her.
Absolutely, especially in a parade. Wouldn't be a parade without
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. And we really appreciate the Laney Station Saddle Club for being a part of our parade. Our 99th unit, as a matter of fact, and the 100th unit right behind the Laney Station Saddle Club
Buffalo Rock.
is Buffalo Rock.
Let's see.
Let me tell you, here's another integral part of our community.
Absolutely.
Coy Armstrong heads it up here in our area of Buffalo Rock Bottling Company, and I tell you, another group you can't hardly brag
That's right,
on enough.
and appropriately, Coy Armstrong is one of the members of the committee putting together the Sesquicentennial today, and he's responsible for the time capsule, which the tape of today's programs will go into.
They have 40
Armstrong.
20-foot vending trucks, 18 25 trucks, 25-foot trucks, two pickup trucks.
Down Broad Street.
Yes, indeed. They came to Gadsden at 76 with only 30 employees. Now they have 150 people that not only serve soft drinks, but everything from a cup of coffee to a complete meal. Buffalo Rock Bottling Company. What great civic patrons they are.
That's right. We appreciate them joining us today.
Let me tell you, they really have done an excellent job. Coy Armstrong, by the way, too, is one of the originators, and there were several in there initially, but it was one of Coy's dreams to put on Riverfest.
Oh, really? I
And
didn't
it
realize
initially
that.
started out as a 4th of July celebration. Coy spearheaded it along with several others, but he was pretty much behind a lot of the original organizational efforts of what became Riverfest. There we go. Happy 150th Gadsden.
Today's the big day, as it says. The city's been preparing for this for a long time. Look at the crowd we've drawn today, Jay.
Yes, indeed.
A beautiful day for a birthday celebration. Beginning, of course, this morning, the parade was only the first event for today.
That's exactly right. And, of course, Buffalo Rock is the 100th entry and the last entry of our parade. And then, of course, we have several other people behind it that are trailing in, namely the Gadsden Police Department and several other folks that indeed are part of our organizational efforts of the parade here as well. Now, as Ellen was saying, there's going to be a lot more things happening beginning at noon here in downtown Gadsden. There's going to be a sidewalk sale. And at 4:15 to 5:30, the Spirit of America Citizenship Award ceremony, which will be including commissioning of the Spirit of Citizenship Monument and other volunteer awards in front of Convention Hall, Ellen.
That's right. And then at 5:30, Jay, also in front of Convention Hall, the big men, together with Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, will be giving out to the first 2,500 people free hot dogs from Gregerson's. All of the events of today will be documented again for placing along with our tape from the parade.
That's right.
In the time capsule.
And the sponsors, of course, are the big men, the business industry and government mean entertainment now, and the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority incorporated. Then, of course, from 6:30 to 8:30 is the big extravaganza.
That's right. Basil Gilchrist is the chairman of the event, and Ron Townsend directs.
As a matter of fact, the group is scheduled to perform with a lot of great groups like the Rebel Americans from Emma Sansom High School. Jim Connor, a local celebrity, of course, of bluegrass and fame, of Richard and Jim back in the old days. And thanks, Barry. Barry from Buffalo Rock bringing us a Pepsi.
And then the events tonight are capped with a huge fireworks display. At 8:45, the grand finale will be fireworks. Again, you'll see all of it on tape, so when you're tuning into the Christmas parade, stay tuned.
Absolutely. So the grand finale, of course, the Zambelli International group will be doing the fireworks. They do a lot of the fireworks all over the world. And I tell you, it is a wonderful day to be in Gadsden, and even better to be able to call yourself a citizen of the city of Gadsden. Well, Ellen, that pretty well wraps it up for the parade. Gosh, I can't believe it. 100 entries, and we went through pretty quickly. As a matter of fact, about an hour and a half, and really a wonderful day here in the city of Gadsden.
Beautiful day to celebrate a birthday, and I appreciate you being with me, Jay.
Hey, thank you.
Happy birthday.
For the opportunity. Happy birthday, Ellen. And for Ellen Coffey, I'm Jay Holland from downtown Gadsden, wrapping it up for the Sesquicentennial celebration of our parade. We hope you enjoyed it on Comcast.